Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome, everyone. Slancha. We'll wait a little bit until some people get on. That's if anybody gets on. It's pretty early in the morning. This is From the Stone. My name is Druid Declan, founder of the Druid Circle, founder of Druid Order of Blessed Stone and Wood, and founder of Druid University, along with Druid Living, a very conservative pagan media outlet for conservative voices. From the Stone is all about the wheel of the year, the seasons of the year, the cycle of the sun, the stations of the sun, as Hutton so wonderfully encapsulates in his title book. And so today and throughout the season, I share with you my correspondence and how I share that correspondence with you, and some of the things we do. I think that sometimes we start thinking about the correspondences, and correspondences just simply mean, what does the season mean to you? What does this time of the year mean to you? What does this I guess these months, what do these months mean to you? And so summer, when we're talking about summer, or Litha, and in Norse it's actually L-I, and then it's a little D with a cross, which is actually a DT, Litha, H-A, Litha. But interestingly enough, the summer, the correspondence we're focusing on is letting go. How do we let go in all this chaos? How do we let go in all of this craziness? How do we let go in a world that's totally upside down, where you got to bring a mask with you, and if you don't, you're fined, whatever the case is. What is really happening? And I think a lot of people are beginning, at least from some of the things I've heard, beginning to question: is this all true? Is this all real? Oh, it's real. It's real. But the reality is that though it is real and though it is true, and this is the new abnormal. I don't even like to call it the new normal, because it's not. It's actually the new abnormal, right? The abnormal, the new abnormal. There is, I guess, forces that are moving against us, that are moving, that are moving against light forces. And so sometimes we might feel powerless, and sometimes we might feel exhausted and not able to do. And this whole Litha, I'm giving up to the correspondence of letting go. As the sun now moves in a direction where there's less sunlight and more darkness, it is a process of understanding the power that, even though the sun is most powerful during this time, it is a point to say, okay, we must acknowledge that the sun is going, therefore we must let our worries, our qualms, our things that create anxiety, that create nervousness, that create worry. We need to then begin, especially during this season. This is the time to let it go. Just let it go. Let it go. And I wonder too, if even in the story of Moses, with the Pharaoh, I wonder if this whole idea of let my people go actually even happened during the solstice, because it was an understanding and a symbolism of letting go, just letting go, giving it up, not holding on anymore. Litha. And so when we think about, this time of letting things go, it's then a time to place the responsibility on us as people. That the relationship between you and the God or gods of your understanding isn't broken, it isn't destroyed, there's still that very close connection. It's just saying, now I need to do for myself that these past 6 months, if you will, have allowed me to get the energy that I needed to now do for me. And I think that when we start talking about theogony, we start thinking about what is theogony and what does it even mean to us, and why theogony is important when we start talking about letting go. If you do not know the God or gods of your understanding, you will not be able to let go, because you are at a point where you do not know who they, he, she is or are. And that is why we must know who God is. That is why we must engage in theosophy, in theogony, because theogony says that this is what this particular God is capable of. And even in stories of old, we hear stories of God as thunder, as lightning, as sky, as water, right? And even in scripture we hear things like the God of blank, whereas in folklore and myth, which is actually the word for truth, in myth we actually hear the names of these gods rather than the God of lightning. Do you see what I'm saying? The God of the wind, we don't hear the God of the wind, we don't hear the God of the air, we hear Lu. Do you see? And Litha, when we begin to let go and we begin to let God, if you will, we're not any longer saying we need God. And it is not please mark my words, I'm not saying that we do not need God. I think that we need less to be dependent upon the God or gods of your understanding, the pantheon or pantheons of your understanding, especially during this time. If we wish to move with the seasons and have the power of the seasons, then we must do as the seasons command us to do. Litha. And these seasons and these seasons that command us to do things, when we move with them, we then can begin to see the majesty and the mystery of not only the gods, not only the Fae or the mysticals, but also our ancestors. Theogony is the study or the understanding of knowing who the gods are. Theogony, believe it or not, is the word even in Catholicism that talks about the saints, knowing who the saints are, knowing what they do, knowing what they're for. And since most saints, if not, I would say most, if not, many saints were named after the old gods, I would say that it's very important to understand that the God's power is good. One of the ways that theogony happens is simply by picking up a book and learning them. You can buy a book on the Celtic gods, you could buy a book on the Etruscan gods, you could buy a book, I just picked up a book on Babylonian and Sumerian gods. It's from like the 1800s. I'm not asking you to do that, but I mean, you could buy the new ones or whatever the case is. But know these gods and buy books. Obviously, don't buy these books written today by watered down writers. Read good books with a big, huge bibliography. And you know, when we start thinking about theogony and we start thinking about who these gods are, and we start really beginning to understand, we then can have a relationship with them and also say their names. Say their names as it is. I hear many people say Danu. It's not Danu. It's Donna, as in mother, Donna, as in Madonna, the goddess of knowledge. And I think that that's what we need when we are seeking theogony, when we are seeking to learn about the gods, when we are seeking to learn about that which is good or gut. And when we start thinking about that, we then become awe. If we think too much on what we can't do without the gods, then we're never going to be able to think about what we can do with the gods. If we think so much about what we can't do without the gods, then we are never going to be able to think about what we can do with the gods. Litha. And letting go, as one of the correspondences of Litha, the idea of knowing that the sun is moving less and less in a direction where we have less and less sunlight during the day. I think it is 100% important that we understand and appreciate and value that who you know as God, who you know as your pantheon, will be so much more inclined to be with you when they see you doing your own hard work, independence. All of these values are very old world traditional values. Work hard, and work for what you want. When you work hard for what you want, you have a sense of appreciation of you have appreciation of your community, you have appreciation for all of those others in your geographical boundary or political boundary, and you have an appreciation for your nation. Do what you need to do, and sometimes, and when you begin to study the God or gods of your understanding, and even the God of your understanding, if you're even a monotheist, go back and learn who that God was, the God of thunder, or what the kennings of those gods were. Because theogony is really about understanding not only their names, not only the power of their names, the etymology of their names, but also the power that they had, which 9 times out of 10 is in their name. If we don't continue to move toward and away from our pantheon, sending a very clear, loud and clear message to them, saying, could we live without you, even though we don't want to, or even though we don't have any intention on it, it gives them the chance to say, yes, I will give them more power. And that, in a sense, is really the, I think that's the essence of, if you will, the essence of Theogony is knowing who they are. The essence of Theogony is knowing why they are. The essence of Theogony is knowing where they are and how they are, and all that stuff that will empower our own day. Litha. And seeing the sun go, seeing the sun in decline, seeing the sun moving away is just one of those ways to understand better and have a better relationship with them. We must be able to see and realize the very good potential that we have that have been bestowed upon us. That's what we need. That's what we could benefit from. It's that letting go. It's that moving away. It's saying, I know you're there, but I'm going to try to do this on my own. Especially in this world of chaos. Especially in this world of craziness. Especially in this clown honk world. That is the message from the stone. Thank you, everyone. And now for your blessing. Wherever you're at, whenever you're at. May the gods bless you. May the goddesses keep you. May the Fae shine their light upon you. And may your ancestors reign with you forever and ever, world without end. Girawen. That Shegobra, the very 4 simple words of the philosophy of Druids. It all works out, right? The 4 simple words, Bet Shegobra. Bet Shegobra. It all works out. At least it's my translation. There's many translations of it. You know, burn your torches through the night. Don't be afraid. Speak up when you feel and call out inappropriate behavior. Don't call out for quietness. Call out for inappropriate behavior. Be strong, be courageous. And that's it. Arenit. Eist. Lemo. Oui. Now for your meditation.